The story begins with Master Wang observing his students practicing Kung Fu. Afterward, he orders his assistant to look after the students because he has an important errand to run. The assistant follows the orders without a word, but in the middle of the training, Fei Hung, Master Wang's son, starts to mock him. Fei Hung is mischievous and always causing trouble. He also insulted the assistant master, making all the students laugh at him. The assistant then got into a fight with him, and Fei Hung told him, "You're a failed instructor, and you know nothing about martial arts." Then he tripped him with a hook kick, and as soon as the assistant master tried to attack him, Fei Hung humiliated him in front of everyone and defeated him easily because he's skilled in Kung Fu. After the training, Fei Hung was eating in the market with his useless friends, but suddenly a beautiful girl passed by. Fei got up to flirt with her, but the girl's mother appeared and humiliated him in front of everyone. At first, Fei thought the girl's mother was weak and kept insulting her, but then he realized she was a very skilled Kung Fu master and fought fiercely with her. The girl's mother then taught him a lesson and slapped him multiple times because he was a failed and rude young man. In the end, Fei Hung lost the fight and left the girl and her mother alone. Next, we meet Jerry. Jerry is the son of one of the city's rich men, but he's an arrogant young man who bullies the weak. When he was trying to rob a poor man, Fei suddenly appeared. Even though Fei is a failed young man and causes a lot of trouble, he's kind on the inside. That's why he fought Jerry the scoundrel and wasn't afraid of him. Then he gave him a good beating using his excellent Kung Fu skills. He also stole his money to give it to the poor man and relentlessly beat Jerry until he cried like a small child. At that time, the lady Fei had fought with met Master Wang. Here, we learn that this lady's name is Linda and she is the master's sister. Fei was shocked when he saw her from afar and was surprised that she was his aunt. So he hid his face so she wouldn't see him, but it was no use because she eventually recognized him. Afterward, she told Master Wang that Fei had harassed her daughter. Of course, the master exploded with anger and slapped Fei so hard he flipped in the air. In the middle of Master Wang's fight with Fei, Lu suddenly appeared. Lu is the father of the bully Jerry and he came to take revenge on Fei because he broke his son's bones. At first, Liu's followers wanted to catch Fei and beat him up because of his actions, but his aunt Linda defended him and said they had to organize a kung fu fight to solve their problems. Indeed, Liu chose his strongest fighter to fight Fei Hung. Even though Fei is skilled in kung fu and unmatched, his opponent was using the death palm technique and was able to block all his attacks. So Aunt Linda helped Fei and told him he had to use the snake style to win. Here, Fei followed his aunt's instructions and used the snake style to defeat Liu and his followers, making them run in fear like dogs. After the battle, the master told Fei, "You've caused me big problems and you need to learn manners." The next day, Fei was punished in a painful position with a candle underneath him so he would get burned if he tried to rest. The assistant master watched him all day. Fei was tormented more and more in front of the students, but suddenly, Fei's friend appeared and brought a piece of wood, placing it under him so he could sit on it like a chair. But unfortunately, as soon as the master arrived, he noticed that Fei was resting on the wood and trying to avoid punishment. So he pulled the wood out from under him and made him fall onto the candle to get burned. After that, he tied him up in an abandoned house and hung a large water pot by his neck. Before Fei Hung lost consciousness from the torture, his friend returned again and brought food. He also managed to untie his restraints with difficulty and freed him from the house. Then he told him, "You must escape because your father is angry with you because of the trouble you caused, and if he sees you, he won't spare you." The next day, Fei escaped to the city and went to a restaurant because he was very hungry. Then he met a rich man and started ordering all the food he wanted. Of course, the rich man was surprised because it was the first time he saw Fei Hung in the city and he couldn't believe his eyes because he was eating so fast as if he had never seen food before. After Fei was full, he decided to leave and told the restaurant worker that the rich man was responsible for paying the bill. But the disaster was that the rich man was the owner of the restaurant, and thus Fei's plan failed, and all the workers gathered around him to make him pay the money. Furthermore, Chong himself arrived. Chong is the security guard at the restaurant and he beats anyone who eats and doesn't pay. At first, Fei defended himself fiercely and managed to defeat all the restaurant workers, but Chong was very strong and managed to control him. Then the workers surrounded Fei Hung and kept hitting him until they emptied his stomach of food. But suddenly, an unknown old man told the restaurant workers to leave Fei alone because they were many and he was alone. Then he started fighting them. The old man was very skilled in kung fu, and even though he was old and the restaurant workers outnumbered him, he was distinguished by his speed and amazing acrobatic movements, and he managed to defeat them all to save Fei from them. After Fei and the old man successfully escaped from the restaurant, Fei thanked the old man for saving him and asked him his name, to which he replied his name was Su. At first, Fei told Master Su about his father and said that he was running away from him because he was torturing him. Master Su told Fei that he was his father's dear friend and was here to train him and teach him discipline. Of course, Fei was terrified and decided to run away because he didn't want to go back to his father again, but it was no use because Master Su was smart and fast and managed to corner Fei in the middle of the forest. So Fei used the tiger style and tried to defend himself, but Master Su grabbed him and insulted him, saying, "You're a failure in Kung Fu." Then Fei used the monkey style and kept doing flips everywhere, while Master Su dodged his blows with lightning speed and sat on his back skillfully. Then he kept hitting him until Fei quieted down and learned manners. Master Su took Fei to his house and began teaching him the secrets of Kung Fu so that he would become a strong young man and stay away from failure. But Fei waited until the master fell asleep and tried to escape. Here, we learn that Master Su had tied Fei by his toe and set traps everywhere so he wouldn't escape. Moreover, he trained him with the most difficult exercises every day. Fei felt extreme fatigue and decided that he had to escape by any means. So he waited until the master was distracted and pretended to drown in a water pot. Of course, Master Su was shocked and ran at his fastest speed to save Fei from drowning, but Fei tricked him and pushed him into the water pot. Then he placed a huge stone on him and escaped into the forest in seconds. After Fei escaped, he sat down to rest and dry his clothes by the fire, but suddenly a man appeared and asked him to leave because it was his place. Of course, Fei was stubborn and refused to listen because he didn't know that this man was Thunderleg, the strongest assassin in all of China. As soon as Thunderleg got angry at Fei, he started fighting him. Even though Fei was skilled in Kung Fu and refused to give up, Thunderleg used the Death Foot style, which is a fighting style that focuses on delivering devastating blows with the feet. Unfortunately, Fei was completely crushed like a child, and Thunderleg humiliated him, telling him, "You're just a dog. You're nothing." Then he insulted his father and burned his clothes in front of his eyes. Of course, Fei was shocked and couldn't bear this humiliation, so he started running through the fields and promised himself that he must become strong to return to Thunderleg and take revenge on him at any cost. At that time, Master Su was drying his clothes from the water, but he was surprised that Fei had returned home. Fei tried to reconcile with Master Su after escaping from him, but the master remained angry, and as soon as Fei took a glass of wine and offered it to him, the master finally forgave him and ordered him to dry his clothes. But foolish Fei set the clothes on fire and ruined everything. The next day, Fei returned to training again, but this time he trained his hardest because he wanted to become strong to defeat Thunderleg and take revenge on him for humiliating him. Master Su revealed all his secrets to Fei and treated him exactly like his own son, caring for him. But one day, when Fei was filling a bucket of water using small cups, he noticed that Master Su was asleep, so he started cheating and tried to fill the bucket faster. Then he went to the master and said he had finished the exercise, but the master knew he was cheating and gave him smaller cups to empty the bucket again. So Fei returned to the exercise, crying. After the training sessions, Master Su asked Fei Hung to break a walnut with only his fingers, but Fei failed and couldn't break it. So he started practicing day and night on breaking walnuts to develop the strength of his nerves until he finally succeeded and told the master that he needed to rest because he had put in a lot of effort. Indeed, Master Su took Fei with him and went to the market to rest from training, and they started betting large sums of money. Master Su won everyone to the point that Zhao Ta, the local thug, showed up himself and challenged the master for all the money. But Master Su had quick eyes and was able to detect that Zhao Ta was cheating in the game. So Zhao Ta caused chaos in the place and tried to escape with the money, but Master Su caught him at the last moment, and Fei started fighting him. Zhao Ta was using the Iron Head style, and his head could destroy anything in its path, and no matter how much Fei tried to defeat him, he couldn't. So Master Su gave him an iron hammer to defeat him. Indeed, Fei followed the master's orders and used the hammer to hit Zhao Ta on the head until he made him surrender. After that, Fei returned to training again and was focusing on strengthening his nerves and the power of his grip. Here, Master Su asked him to go to the city to buy wine, but foolish Fei took all the money and spent it all on food. Then he filled the wine bottle with water. At that time, Master Su's hands began to tremble because if he didn't drink wine, he would become weak. Furthermore, the scoundrel Zhao Ta brought Bamboo King to get his revenge. Bamboo King is a skilled fighter with a staff, and as soon as he noticed that Master Su's hands were trembling, he started fighting him fiercely. The master tried to dodge him with everything he had, but in the middle of the fight, Fei Hung stumbled, and the master was surprised because he had replaced the wine with water. And because Fei was still a beginner and Master Su was weak, Bamboo King gave them a good beating and made them run away like cowards. At night, Fei remained sad because he caused his master to lose. So Master Su told him not to be sad and decided to teach him the Drunken Master style. This style works when the fighter is drunk, so Fei and the master kept drinking wine all night, but suddenly Fei Hung lost consciousness. The next day, Fei began to study the Drunken Master fighting style and learned all its secret techniques to become skilled in offense and defense using his hands and feet. He also learned amazing acrobatic movements so he could defeat anyone who stood in his way. At that time, Lu, the father of the bully Jerry, met Master Wang and asked to buy his martial arts training school for a huge sum of money, but Master Wang refused his offer. So Lu got angry and sent a message to the assassin Thunderleg to kill him. Meanwhile, Fei was going home and by chance saw Bamboo King and his students, so he decided to attack him to take revenge and get his right back. At first, we learned that Fei had become strong due to the Drunken Master style and was able to catch Bamboo King and crush him in front of all his students. He also continued to drink wine in huge quantities until he became very drunk and his true skill appeared. When Fei defeated Bamboo King, he stole the wine jars from him to give them to Master Su, but as soon as he got home, he found a message from the master. Master Su told Fei that his training was finally over and it was time for him to return to his father. Fei felt sad because Master Su had left him. At that time, the master was in his school, but one of his students told him to come with him quickly because there were thieves trying to steal his property. Here, we learn that the student was a traitor and lured Master Wang into a trap because the assassin Thunderleg suddenly appeared and told the master that he would finish him off to get a large sum of money from Lu. Unfortunately, Thunderleg managed to overpower the master in the fight because the master was old and couldn't defend himself, but luckily, a loyal student brought Fei with him, and they arrived to save the master. At first, Fei was shocked when he saw Thunderleg because he had humiliated him before and said that the time had come for revenge. Master Su gave him a bottle of wine and told him to drink from it to unleash his true power. Indeed, Fei Hong kept drinking from the wine bottle in the middle of the fight and was able to activate the Drunken Master style. Then he dodged Thunderleg's blows with lightning speed and ruthlessly crushed him until he broke his neck and ended his life completely. And so, Fei got his right back and made his master and father proud of him. This was a summary of the movie Drunken Master. Subscribe to receive the strongest summaries every day, and I'll see you soon.